copy, Mr. Lim?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is a photocopy of what, if you don't mind?
This is the letter of Mrs. Cristina Corona to the Board of Directors of the Columns Ayala Avenue Condominium Corporation, Your Honor.
What is the purpose of this letter, Mr. Lim?
Objection, Your Honor. Best evidence would be the letter.
All right, very well. Do you confirm, therefore, that the letter contains this paragraph? This is also to request for the waiver of penalties and interests incurred from commencement of payments, what is this? Which Mr. Ben Slim allowed, pending confirmation by the board members. In applying for this waiver, I would like the board of directors to be informed of the ordeals that I have gone through with this unit. When I first inspected my unit, I couldn't because the columns administration had turned it into a bodega, storage place filled with debris from other units, dirty brooms, mops were on my kitchen counters. The tools, brooms, and mops were on my kitchen counters. The toilets were stinking. The kitchen sink was a mess. It is also disinfected now because I spent time, money to clean up their mess and to disinfect the kitchen counters. Further, this unit has had a history of various defects: undersized electrical wires, leaking roof, damaged floors, unfinished windows, jams, etc., etc. Do you confirm that that appears in the photocopy I'm showing you?
Your
Mr.
Honor,
Lim?
the same objection, whether or not it appears in the document, will be borne by the document.
It's merely confirmatory, Your Honor.
Sustain.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, what did you do when you received this letter, Mr. Lim?
I forward this to the Board of Directors dated May of 2011 on our board meeting. Basically, the board approved the request to waive the interest and penalties.
What do you mean the board approved the request? What did that mean? How much was waived?
Basically, sir, it's amounting to 18,000 approximately.
So, let us go back. You testified that the demand was for 112,000 and some change.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you're telling me that they waived 18,000 and some change.
Yes, Your Honor.
That means that the only obligation to you must have been about 98,000? No, I'm sorry, 94,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Am
I
I
would like
correct?
to explain for that, Your Honor.
Could you please, Mr. Lim?
The payment that was paid by Mrs. Cristina Corona, dated April 6, 2011, which I explained it, this is from the third quarter of 2009 going to the first quarter of 2011. So, second quarter of 2011, basically the 112,000 that our corporate secretary of the association given the demand letter is that is only from third quarter of 2009 to first quarter of 2011, Your Honor. So basically, Mrs. Cristina Corona paid also the next billing, which is second quarter 2011, amounting to 15,000, which is not included for the interest and penalties, because this is a due billing. This is only the updated billing.
Just a minute.
Yes, Your Honor.
The dispute is about the condition of the unit. Is this correct?
That is right, Your Honor. That is right,
I'm asking
Your
the
Honor.
witness.
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the question, Your Honor?
The dispute between the developer and Mrs. Corona was about the condition of the unit she bought from the developer.
I don't have an idea for that, Your Honor.
Because the letter says about this dirty condition of the unit.
Yes, Your Honor, but basically the letter is forwarded to the Board of Directors, which
I will put this question to you. The unit was bought by Mrs. Corona,
yes, Your Honor.
fully paid.
For that, I don't have an idea, Your Honor. This is for the developer
But
concern.
it was already owned by her, so much so that association dues were being billed on her.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so the only question is her acceptance of the unit.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right? And yet, this was not included in the SALN of the Chief Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right?
He would not know, Your
You
Honor.
did not consider that a value to be included in the SAL of the Statement of Assets and Liabilities?
Your Honor, if you will recall, during the prosecution's evidence in chief,
Yes.
the testimony was that there was no formal acceptance of the delivery and that the documents of
All
the
right,
developer will
correct.
show.
Correct.
Yes.
But there was already a value transferred to the seller.
But that value was under dispute because of the defects, Your Honor.
Precisely, but did not the Mrs. Corona pay money for the unit?
Yes, and she was
Why did
asking
you-
for it back, Your Honor.
Why did you not report that in your SAL and as a collectible?
Your Honor, because they wanted the money returned. The unit was
Precisely.
defective.
In other words, you considered that there was no transaction so that
Yes, Your Honor.
the developer owes you money.
That is precisely
That's
correct.
just an
Your Honor.
asset.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, proceed.
So, Mr. Lim, do you know if there were any dues collected from or demanded from Mrs. Corona before 2009?
I don't have an idea, sir, because I just started to be a property manager of the Columns Ayala Avenue since 2010.
I see. And yet you have access to the records of the corporation.
Yes, Your Honor.
By the way, Mr. Lim, did you present Mrs. Corona with a statement of account for the 112,000 that was the subject of your demand letter earlier?
I remember, sir, this was attached from the final demand letter sent by our corporate secretary.
Yes, in fact, it is my mistake. I'm showing you now. Just to complete the documentation, Your Honor, the statement of account, that was the basis for the demand letter.
That is not the one, sir.
What? Yes. Can you
Same,
please?
same manifestation, Your Honor. The document presented is a photocopy.
Wait. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I brought the wrong one. Yeah. Is this the statement of account? A photocopy of the statement of account?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. May we request that this statement of account be marked as, sorry. No, 196? Yes, 196A. Yeah, or unless it was marked differently. No? 196A, because this is attached to the letter, yes.
So,
No, it's attached to the final demand.
Kaya nga, that's why you want 195, this is
Yeah, 195A.
195. You have
No, this is one, what is this?
Counsel,
Yes, Your Honor.
Until now, this court cannot understand your line of questioning. The question is, there is a value involved here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was that included in the SALN of the Chief Justice?
Yes, Your Honor, it was.
It was included?
Yes.
In what way?
It was included later, Your Honor.
No, at the time,
Oh, it was declared. At the time, there was no mention of the
at the time
columns.
of the acquisition, at
When-
the time of the payment.
Your Honor, the payment was made in installments. And then the title was transferred. But the transfer of the title, if I recall, 2004 or 2005. If I recall correctly, Your Honor, the property was not formally accepted until this time when...
But was the installment payment completed
yes, Your Honor.
at that time? But it was not accepted.
To the best of my knowledge, yes, that is the way it happened, Your Honor. Not accepted by the buyer, Your Honor.
When was the completion of the installment?
At around that time when the title was transferred, Your Honor.
But that's already a value. fully pay, that ought to be reflected in the SALN.
But that is also a defective sale, Your Honor.
It doesn't matter. There is a value. Then, if the owner wanted to rescind the contract, he could have entered it as a receivable.
That is what happened in the interregnum, Your Honor. There was a dispute.
Anyway, proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. President,
Senator Spendia.
may I just have be clarified on a couple of points. First, some questions to the prosecution counsel. The sale for the columns took place on what year, sir? What year?
2004, Your Honor.
October 2004. And the declaration of the purchase and the acceptance of the columns as an asset occurred on what year?
It was declared in 2010.
So there was 10 years.
6 years, Your Honor.
6 years, I'm sorry. 6 years that lapsed between the time that he closed the sale and the time he declared it in his SLAN.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. How was the sale effectuated? Was this a cash sale? Was it a deferred payment sale? Was it financed by a bank? The developer finance?
Do you have it? Your Honor, I'm not too sure about the terms. All I have before me is the contract to sell, which is dated January 2004, and a deed of absolute sale dated October 2004. So it's a transaction spanning less than a year.
And the price was 3.168?
3.588, Your Honor.
3.588.
Yes.
All right. Maybe I'll ask the defense counsel, how was the sale pay, how was the columns paid for?
Your Honor, the only thing I have in my possession right now is a deed of absolute sale, but I suspect that this was also in installments.
No, do not suspect. You're supposed to know, and I presume you're not telling us the truth.
Well,
Did he
Your
pay
Honor,
cash? I'm asking you, did he pay cash?
I'm not informed, Your Honor. That would have been between the buyer and the developer. I do
So-
have the deed of sale and confirm that the price
So you're
was
blissfully
3.5.
ignorant. Will you tell us tomorrow
Yes,
whether
Your
he paid
Honor.
cash?
Definitely.
All right. Mr. Lim, do you know if cash was paid? Were you already with Ayala Corp?
I don't have an idea.
No
Your
one
Honor.
says. All right. Anyway, some value was
Your Honor.
exchanged before it...
If
Yes.
I may. I've just been informed that this was acquired on a deferred payment basis.
Yes, so how much down was paid?
Oh, can you get the terms?
We'd like to know the payments
That
that
will
were
have
made.
to wait until tomorrow, Your Honor. But I will provide you
Yes,
with those details.
Senator Ping Lacson might